Good evening, viewers and listeners, and welcome to this another edition of Serving the People, brought to you by me, your host, Mrs. Anissa Batiste. Please let us start with a word of prayer. Loving Father in heaven, please bless us now as we speak the truth to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that they may know the truth and their minds may be directed in the right path in this whole controversy. These mercies I ask of you through Jesus Christ. Amen. Yeah. And now, my dear viewers, let me remind you that if you wish to contact me, the email address is servingthepeople.ab@gmail.com. Or you may call me. The telephone number is 528-1015. Let me introduce you to my guest this evening. His name is Mr. Cheflon Ballantyne. Cheflon, greet the people.
Good day to you, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's indeed a pleasure speaking to you today, and thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Now, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I'm happy to be bringing this program to you once again. It has not ceased, serving the people. I know that in recent times there has been a controversy surrounding me and Mr. Ballantyne, where I have been fired by the opposition leader from my senatorial position. He had it revoked through his instruction to the Governor General. And this decision, as he explained in recent times on New Times on Nice Radio, there were some reasons behind it. We want to give you an opportunity through this program to begin to understand exactly what happened. What you must understand is that it all started with a statement that was made by Mr. Ballantyne on Cross Country Radio. And we want you to hear this clip for yourselves. Essentially, however, Mr. Ballantyne made a statement on a program, and the statement, it was said, it constituted an attack on the Roman Catholic Church. People said it was Mr. Ballantyne running down the Roman Catholic Church, or beating up on it, as it were, and calling the Catholic Church a cult. Well, when I heard the statement myself, I disagreed. And the Honorable Lanham Eustace, in a meeting of the Strategy Committee of the New Democratic Party on the 17th of April, Tuesday 17th April, he made a policy that said that no candidate or potential candidate should say anything or make any public statements that are adverse to any religion. No candidate should criticize another religion. And I disagreed with the policy because I felt that in the first place, the statement Mr. Ballantyne had made did not constitute an attack or saying anything adverse to any religion. And because of my protesting against the policy and explaining why I wouldn't follow it, I was fired. But we want you to begin to understand what really happened. And in this program, one of the things we want to do is to let you listen to the clip itself and hear for yourself exactly what was said. So, listen carefully.
Welcome back to Cross Country Media. We were joined by Cheflon Ballantyne, and I will allow him to make his opening statements.
Yeah, good night to you, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good night to you, members of the panel. Once again, thank you for having me on tonight, Joel. Good night to everybody. I don't know if opening statement means I go straight to the issues.
Yes.
All right. In the papers this week, I'll begin with the newspaper. I heard a bit of the comments on my way. First of all, let me apologize for being late. Right? I just coming straight from church.
I did that already for you.
Yeah. The front page of the news. PM condemns satanic cult. People could get injured through them. And below that you have satanic cult creates stir. I read this article. I read this article this week. I read the first article in the news last week, and I find that there is a very strong level of hypocrisy in our society. I do not know who this group is that they're referring to. Based upon the article from last week, it's alleged that the woman who is leading the group declares herself to be neither male nor female, and that she is divine, and she takes an angelic reform or something to that effect. And you have a public outcry from the general public and even the Prime Minister weighing in. But my issue here is that here you are branding a group as being a cult, and the group bears certain characteristics that are shared by the Roman Catholic Church itself. Take, for instance, her alleged claim that she is divine is a claim that is repeated by the very office of the popes of the Roman Catholic Church. They themselves say outright that they are, Pope Leo, for instance, declared that he is God on earth. And the very office, Vicarius Filii Dei, the vicar of the Son of God, is one that identifies the holder of that office as a substitute Christ. So, when we are thinking of the injury that can take place by persons following certain religious groups or doctrines, we must not be hypocritical about it. We look at the evangelical religions as well, and back in the year 1900, they would have been seen in the very same light as this little group is being seen. I'm not endorsing this group. I do not believe that any human being is divine. I do not believe that a human being, in her case, that she's neither male nor female. But the fact of the matter is, what I'm trying to highlight here is the level of hypocrisy that exists in the society. Persons are quick. Why do you brand this group as being a satanic cult in the very first place?
Could I ask you a question? Are you accepting the basic facts as outlined in the story? Were you able to verify?
Well, I wasn't able to verify, but I'm just highlighting a similarity that I see between the alleged facts outlined here and what exists in certain religions in our society. And ironically, the Prime Minister himself, who is a Roman Catholic, should be calling upon the society to vehemently criticize his very own religion, because they bear the same, so in relation to the woman identifying herself, allegedly, as being divine, the popes have identified themselves as being gods and as being divine on earth as well. The issue with our society is this. There's a new group. It is small, fairly recent. It is quickly branded as a cult. 20 years from today, when it becomes established, it is no longer seen as a cult. Currently it bears characteristics to established religions. It is seen as a cult. The established religion is seen as established and well accepted. It is this sort of hypocrisy that I'm highlighting. I'm nowhere condoning if this story as it is outlined in the news is correct. I'm nowhere condoning or promoting this religion. I do not agree with it, but I just want to highlight that level of hypocrisy that exists. And that's what I want to say concerning that. So in other words, the Prime Minister should condemn the Roman Catholic Church as well.
Yes, my dear people, you heard that clip. Mr. Valentine, talk to us a bit about that clip.
Well, that is a clip from April the 7th, Saturday night, April the 7th, on CCR Radio.
Yes.
The weekly program, Cross Country Meets the Media.
Okay.
Where we analyze, sometimes different guests are invited to join the panel, and we analyze different issues making the newspapers for that week.
Okay.
On a weekly basis.
Okay.
And in that particular week, there was a news article which I made reference to in that clip.
Yes.
In the newspaper front page, where the Prime Minister called upon persons to criticize, to condemn, to denounce the so-called satanic cult that surfaced just a week before. Okay. In the same newspaper.
Okay.
You will realize that in that clip, never once did I refer to the Roman Catholic Church as a cult. Mm-hmm. I never referred to the Roman Catholic Church as a cult.
Right.
It is not even my personal culture, is not the culture of my religion to refer to any religion as a cult, for that matter.
Okay.
In addition to that, that statement that I made did not constitute an attack on the Catholic Church.
Right.
It was simply a comparison. You'll notice that I lamented the hypocrisy in the society. I used phrases such as, there's a strong level of hypocrisy in the society, that my issue here is that you brand in a group as a cult when it bears certain characteristics of the Roman Catholic Church. And this was really the issue that was made. A comparison was made between the so-called satanic cult and the Roman Catholic Church. A similarity was found, and I highlighted that similarity.
And that similarity was simply saying that here you have the group being described as having their leader who's a woman, and they say that she's neither male nor female, she's divine, she's a god. And here in the Roman Catholic Church, it is historically stated that the popes see themselves as divine. They call themselves God on earth. So you were simply saying, here the two of them have the similar doctrine or teaching, but you have the Prime Minister condemning one, but not condemning the other.
Yes, and interestingly, like I indicated in that piece, the Prime Minister himself is a Roman Catholic.
Right.
So he should be aware that based upon historical records, the popes in the past referred to themselves as God.
Right.
I gave an example of Pope Leo.
Yes.
And this really was the issue. It was an issue of highlighting the hypocrisy. People are quick to condemn and criticize and refer to a brand, a group, because it is new, it is small. They brand it as a satanic cult when it bears similar characteristics to established religions.
Right.
And that was the basic point. It doesn't constitute an attack or running down or anything like that of a religion.
Okay, that is very important for us to understand. Why is it so important? Because the issue that led to my dismissal started there. The complaint was brought to me by Vice President Sinclair Leacock of the New Democratic Party. He complained to me that Cheflon Ballantyne had launched a serious attack on the Roman Catholic Church. And when I finally heard that clip, which you just heard, my dear people, I couldn't understand why he would describe his words, Mr. Ballantyne's words in that clip, as an attack against the Catholic Church, because it wasn't so. But it went further. When we got to that strategy committee meeting, Mr. Eustace, who at the time of the meeting still had not even heard the original statements of Mr. Ballantyne, he proceeded to dictate a policy. He said at the early stages of that discussion of the meeting, he plainly stated that based on the statements that Mr. Ballantyne had made, with which he was unhappy, he said that the party's position and policy is that no candidate, nor potential candidate, must make any public statements which are adverse to any religion. And that policy came out as a result of the propaganda surrounding Mr. Ballantyne's statement. And I call it propaganda because to date, the facts of Mr. Ballantyne's statement prove that he had not called the Roman Catholic Church a cult. He did not attack the Roman Catholic Church. So then why was the party considering this gentleman's statement, this young man who was a potential candidate for the seat of North Windward for the New Democratic Party because he had shown interest in the seat, why were you now enunciating a policy based on lies that was spread about the statement Mr. Ballantyne made, even though you, the opposition leader yourself, had not heard the original statement? So you say, well, Ms. Batiste, why did you oppose the policy? What really was the issue of the policy? I need to explain that to you as well, and Cheflon is going to help me to find the section in the Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines where I want to show you why something is wrong with the policy, and we will discuss this a little bit before we also talk about the issue of